Welcome back to the Zyori Podcast. Thank you for joining us here on April 2nd, 2015. It's 11 a.m. here on the Pacific Coast. Today is a special day. We've got SirActionSlacks joining us. We won't delay for too much longer. Slacks! What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, Zyori. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, Slacks, believe me, sir, the pleasure is mine. I don't have guests very often. Shannon's been a repeat guest. Conrad was on one. I talked to Sonia the Evil like a year ago. It was weird, and now it's you, man. This is fun and exciting, and I can't believe I didn't think about it a little bit earlier.
I met Sonia the Evil once, too. Yeah, it was at TI4.
Was she nice to you? Because I had a really nice podcast with her. It turned out great. I thought we really kind of bonded a little bit. Nothing sexual, I'm not going to TI expecting to slam it in her. I'm just thinking maybe we'll have a nice chat, maybe we'll talk about Dota. And I saw her at the after party, and she just kind of and just walked away and kind of snubbed me. And I was like, what the shit was that, man? I mean, at least pretend to be a little bit engaged. That's just hurtful. Ugh.
Oh, man. Yeah, I interviewed her or something, and she was, dressed up as Crystal Maiden at TI4. And I was like, oh, cool. She was, one of the first people I interviewed. And I was like, cool costume. We talked about that. And I kept trying to ask her questions, and she would just be like, so follow me on Twitch if you like the costume. And I'm like, well, how'd you make the costume? And she's like, I made it with my Twitch viewers on Twitch. If you want to follow me on Twitch. Like, what the fuck?
Did she actually say Twitch 4 times like that?
Yeah, it was the only thing that came out of her mouth.
That's
was like, hey,
product
nice
placement,
to meet
dude. You got to get there. We get so much shit for things that aren't even product placement. Like, if I'm just actually drinking a Red Bull because I like Red Bull, and I show it on camera, chat is just sell out, sell out, sell out. I'm like, come on, I like Red Bull. It's delicious. I mean, we do work with them, but why do you think I got the Red Bull? They gave it to me because I like it. It's good. It's a mutual circle of goodness. I don't understand why it's such a problem. Oh.
Yeah, see, I actually want to sell out, and I'm having the problem. No one will let me. I hold shit up, and then Steel Series is like, please don't put your stuff on our camera. We don't want to be associated with you. And I'm like, I understand.
Please don't even do it as a joke, sir. We do not want your face next to our logo. That's harsh, man. That's gotta burn.
Shit. So what are we talking about, Zyori? You got some topics with what?
Sort of. I mean, I'm happy just to bullshit about what's going on your stream, man. I want to learn a little more about you. You sent me an email once, and at the bottom of it, you signed with your real name, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit. I wasn't really prepared for you to be a Jason. I don't know why, but in my head, there's some people in the scene that I think of at their first name. Like Demon is a great example. He's just Jimmy. In real life, I call him Jimmy. Everybody calls him Jimmy. It fits that little smug face of his. He is a Jimmy. I look at your mug and I think, that guy's wearing slacks right now. SirActionSlacks, I like it. Rings off the tongue. You are just slacks in my head. Does anybody else call you slacks in real life? Does your girl ever call you slacks?
No. Slacks in real life?
You guys don't get into that? If we hung out at TI5, would you be offended if I only referred to you as slacks? If I introduced you as slacks to people?
That's good. That's comfortable for me. Yeah, I like the online people. It weirds me out when online people call me by my real name.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of. Sometimes. It depends.
It's strange when strangers
if you came up to me and you're like, hey, Jake, how's it going? I'd be like, good. But I don't know. If random people come up to me that I've never met before and they're like, hello, Jake. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, I've had that before. It's oddly uncomfortable. I don't mind if someone calls me by my first name, but if I've never met you, you sound creepy. You sound like you've been investigating a little too much,
Yeah, which is fine if they call you by your fake name. If somebody came up to you, they're like, hi, Zyori, you wouldn't be upset.
I'm used to it now. I just say, hello, it's nice to meet you. That's what most people call me. I don't know.
If people come up and they're like, hey, Mr. Campbell.
Oof,
just a
God.
big fan.
The only people that call me that are adults at events that we're working. People called me that at Major All-Stars, and I'm walking around the backside of the venue, they would call me Mr. Campbell sometimes. But,
sick.
Yeah. Dude, that was one of the craziest parts of Malaysia. The people that ran the event had never really done anything Dota or esports related before, but they had done concerts and other sorts of live events where they've done really cool shows for live audiences. And I think they've had real celebrities there because we had a full-time handler, this dude that was next to us, and his job was just to make sure we had what we needed. So anytime we were hungry or just wanted something to drink, I just go up to this little guy and be like, hey, man, could you get me a Red Bull? And then he comes back with a whole bag full of Red Bulls and just gives them to me. Yeah, it's just a dude. I was like, all right, I want to go outside and do some science. He's like, okay, I'll take you on the lift. And he escorts me upstairs, speaks in Malaysian to the security guard, tells him that I'm the fucking man and that I should just be able to come and go as I please. And then he leaves and I can just kind of do whatever I want. It was awesome. And as I was out there doing signings, people are constantly coming up to me, oh, do you have everything you need? Do you want me to make a line? Do you want me to tell these people to get the fuck out of your space? Do you need a water? What can I get you? That was really cool. I really felt like I was somebody, Slacks. For a brief moment, a sliver of a day, I really felt like I was somebody.
I was a star. I like the Red Bull plug you did again. Sellout bastard. Jesus Christ. Did you take it easy?
God damn it, Slacks. You're just like Twitch chat. You are Twitch chat.
I'm just talking about how much I like Red Bull, is all. No
I mean, I do actually kind of like Red Bull. There are 3 empty Red Bulls on my desk right now.
Shut up!
A problem. And I'm drinking coffee as we speak. I think I'm just a caffeine addict. That's really what it comes down to.
How much coffee do you drink, Zyori?
2 cups a day-ish. Maybe 3.
It's not bad.
Not out of control, but usually there's some Red Bulls interspersed in there, so...
Look at you! I'm watching your stream right now. You're flashing.
I'm not even lying. Slacks, I don't think you understand.
Son of a bitch!
I don't think you understand. We have basically a Red Bull fountain. There is more Red Bull than anything else in our house that you can consume.
No.
Like,
I understand.
It's huge. It's always left over from events. We always have it. So you think to yourself, do I want to buy a soda, or do I just want to go home and drink free Red Bull? Why would you never do the latter? I mean, that's just clearly the value option.
Yeah. I was at like ESL, and there was just buckets of Red Bull, like in these little fucking things. Like you guys had at Summit too, in between you guys on your advertising. They were everywhere. I like wanted water, and I couldn't get water. There's just like 15 Red Bulls in the room, and I'm like, okay.
They love it. They love it. Red Bull really likes to have their product on camera. You know, different sponsors like different things, and they are kind of in a minority of sponsors that don't really care about their logo. You know, they don't really want, we want the Red Bull logo on the stream. They'd much rather just have cool people drinking Red Bull, you know? So I don't know. I'm a cool guy. You know, I'm drinking Red Bull. It's cool. All right, we'll stop talking. You were talking about trying to get some sponsors, Slack, so I'm just trying to give you some tips.
Oh my
God.
Okay.
If you want, we could get you a Red Bull hat, I think you could try out. I don't know. They might like you. They might take you skydiving. That would be fun. You could film it.
Oh, fuck that. Would you ever go skydiving, Zyori?
If Red Bull wanted to do it, I would probably do it with them. I don't know.
Wow.
Just normal, though. I wouldn't trust myself to do it by myself. But if some entity or some company or some big group was like, no, let's do it all together, I'd be like, if LD's doing it, I guess I'll do it. I mean, you know. But I wouldn't just go do it myself.
To watch LD, yeah. I got to watch someone else do it like LD, I would do it.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. What a cool fucking way to die. You know, there's a lot of other ways to die. You hit the ground, you just go splat. So it's okay. It would be kind of shitty though.
I would say, yeah. I always said if I had like a terminal disease, my way I would want to go out is like that guy from Con Air. I would just want to be like thrown out of a plane with like a message on me. They like rip open my shirt and it says like locker D2 at the bank or something, you know?
Okay, all right. That's admirable. I like that. That's good. Just go out in a blaze of glory. You know what they say, Slacks? Either die young or live long enough to see yourself become a piece of shit. I don't know what the saying actually is, but something like that. So anyway, I want to talk about April Fool's, man. I got April Fool's kind of bad. It was not that big of a deal. It's just embarrassing. You know, yesterday was a big day for Summit 3 Europe qualifiers. We had some elimination, and we had Secret playing who did they play? Aces Polar. It went all 5 games, and whoever won qualified. Obviously, Secret won. Very, very hype, very exciting. Happens to be on April Fool's Day. I'm casting with David Parker. Big day. We're holding like 50K. Almost. I think we broke 60K, maybe almost 65 at the end of the day. That's a big audience. You know, you really got to be on your A game, or you're going to get blasted for derping around. And people use that little, like, you know, the little Doritos thing, that little, that people do in chat. It's like that triangle that's dark.
Yeah, I dropped my bag of Doritos.
Yeah, it's like the little subscriber thing. And somebody just did it randomly on like a new line, and it said Dendy. And Dendy's in our chat and watches this, like, he's often chats in there. And I was like, oh, wow, Dendy just subscribed. That's kind of cool. And, like, yeah, if it was anybody else, I wouldn't have said anything. But it's like, Dendy, okay, give a little shout out, right?
Yeah.
So maybe 15 seconds later, it says LD Dota subscribes. I'm like, oh shit, gods, LD just subscribed. What the hell? What's going on? It's a sub-train it's madness. It's, you know, I'm trying to get the hype train going here with all the viewers. And then, like, 2 minutes later, once the delay catches up, everyone just starts lolling, and the chat is just filled with very offensive names subscribing, like Hitler and Stalin and just anything you can imagine, Gabe Newell. And then I realized, oh, it's just some fucking copy pasta that looks like subs. God damn it, I fell for it. I'm just like, oh, I got to say something. I was like, Parker, I got trolled, and he looks over. He's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, man. So it wasn't a big deal, but it was just a very large audience to look like a total dipshit in front of. So I actually blushed and had a little nerd sweat for a good 5 minutes in that series.
Oh, that's fine. That's Jesus. I thought you were gonna tell a sad story.
No, there's nothing sad about it. Come on, I'm upbeat and positive.
That's great.
So did you fuck on anybody for April Fools? You talked about it a little bit in the pre-game we did, but I guess you made some videos. You got into the hype.
Yeah. I made a few. Dota Cinema wanted to do a April Fool's video, but they were totally slammed, so I offered to do one for them, and then I did Clips of the Week, where I invited people and was extremely awkward, had horrible audio problems. I unplugged my mic halfway through on one point. I even got Owie 2000 in there, and I was dying. I was, like, crying. I did it. On the actual video, I mute when I'm laughing. I'm trying to stifle it, because I invite him on, and I'm like, Owie, what's going to happen next? Are they going to get put on the cliff? And he's like, I think they're going to get put on the cliff. And I'd just be silent, or I'd be like, Owie, please don't try to guess what happens on the cliff video. And he just sat there silently. It was like the second time I've actually talked to him, and I'm just being a complete prick. It was so bad. Like, I was crying. It was so funny. And then, yeah, I recorded a 50-minute CD of Dota 2 heroes singing your favorite songs.
50 minutes. Man, that is dedication, Slacks. That is serious.
Yeah, we actually streamed that, and I just ad-libbed everything. We did, like, karaoke. And
my God.
The songs on the spot, and they were real bad.
So what did your viewers think of this? Is this the kind of thing that gained you some subs, or were they just dropping like flies by the end of the day?
What viewers? Viewers? No. I don't know. Who knows? I don't look at the fucking viewers anymore.
Don't lie. Everybody looks at the viewers. Everybody looks at the numbers.
That's true. We all do look at the numbers, but I don't know. It ranged, you know, on the calmer ones.
All right, Jesus Christ.
I do a lot of screeching, so you'll usually lose about 150 to 200 people when you go to, like, the Broodmother singing Justin Bieber's Baby. Yeah. And then it'll start to climb back up, and then you'll make it to Bane screaming, and then it will go down again. But that's how it is.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had this kind of stalwart approach to it, and you stuck through it for the full 50 minutes, because that's really what's important. I wouldn't want you to get deterred by the numbers.
Nah, bro.
Because you got to do you. But on a more serious note, I know your stream is about having a good time. Obviously, you're a lighthearted chap, or at least SirActionSlacks is. I want to talk a little bit about that separation of real life and internet life, and the kind of personalities a bit, and just kind of get your take on that. But I want to hear more about how you handle the people that think what you do is really fucking stupid. I mean, it's great to just try and tune them out, but it's hard. You know, everybody's got haters, and you got to read their bullshit. If you've got a P.O. box, I'm sure people would send you nasty things, poop in envelopes and pictures of their genitals.
Well, I don't know. I mean, haters, for one, I'm lucky that most of my haters are just stupid people. And I'm not trying to be a dick or anything. There's, like, people that hate people because they hate them. But the majority of people I have, you ever heard of that banana experiment with the monkeys and the shock or whatever?
No, I don't. Well, is it the one where the monkey has to shock its friend to get the food?
Something like that. Basically, the monkey learns to go climb up a wall or whatever to get a banana, but when it grabs the banana, it gets shocked.
Okay.
So one monkey doesn't do it, and then they put two monkeys in the cage, and the other monkey watches the monkey go for the banana, and the second monkey learns, don't get the banana. Mm-hmm. Then they take out the first monkey, and they put in the second monkey, and the third monkey knows, don't touch the banana, because it watches the second monkey. And it doesn't know why it doesn't want the banana, it just knows it doesn't want the banana. And I think most of my haters are like that. They see monkey number 2 hates me for whatever fucking stupid-ass reason.
Okay.
And then monkey number 3 says monkey 2 hates him, so now I hate him. He doesn't even know why he hates me.
That is a very interesting analogy. You basically just described that whole monkey see, monkey do adage. I mean, there's some truth to that. That's definitely the kind of mentality that Reddit and other places on the like can kind of encourage, just by the nature of their systems and the confusion that upvotes correlates to facts, or, you know, being correct or something like that, and not just emotionally charged dum-dums that are just trying to, you know, do some Joker-type bullshit. But I mean, you're pretty good at handling it, though. I've seen some of the things that you've posted on Reddit and whatnot, and, like, I forget what it was in response to, but one time I just saw you say, "Oh, that's what my grandfather says to me on every birthday." Just like, who comes up with this shit? How do you come up with just shit like that? That is so. It reminds me of Louis C.K. a little bit in that kind of. I hate everyone, but I also hate myself, so that makes it kind of funny, sort of a way. I don't know.
Well, to go out of character a little bit, to be completely honest with you, we all get haters and stuff, and I actually don't think that they're idiots. It's just, I know for myself, I'm a very polarizing person, because some people get my sense of humor and they really enjoy it, and when I really find somebody that likes it, they like it a lot. Mm-hmm. And then there's people that will listen to it just be like, wow, this voice is grating. It's so loud. I really hate it. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I actually really understand where those people are coming from. Like, because I hate the sound of my own voice, too. I watch my own content, and I'm like, oh, my God, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Why would anyone like this? So I think I have more in contact with people, more in common with people that hate my content than people that like.
That's an interesting take, but
that's interesting.
I don't know. I don't think that's.
You gotta be like that, man.
I don't think that's terribly uncommon though amongst not just like Dota and esports personalities, but bigger personalities in general. I really think there's a lot of similarity between stand-up comedy and live commentary for esports, but also just kind of the whole streaming thing in general, because there is a comedy aspect to it. First of all, what's the first thing we do when there's a long pause or some issue? We start making jokes. We start making fun of people. We poke fun at the players or each other or the studio or what have you. Volvo makes some lame ass fucking retarded meme reference. I mean, think about myself and Dakota. We're a very atypical casting duo. We're one such that we don't have any real analysis or super deep insight. We're both just hype guys that are kind of funny and good at playing off each other, and people like it because it's funny. The comedy element is what adds to it and makes it, bearable and just, an overall enjoyable experience. So, on top of that, there's a very similar lack of infrastructure to become good at it and get to the point kind of like you did where you can do it full time. Think about someone who's an up-and-coming stand-up. There's no real secret formula. There's no school you can go to. There's no piece of paper that says, you're funny. You should have a special on HBO. You got to just keep grinding and work your way up and get a little bit lucky and have the right kind of routine in front of the right people at the right time and do your shit. Try not to OD on drugs. It's a tough life if you're a stand-up. Uh-huh. I feel like it's a similar kind of road of a school of hard knocks. Is that the right phrase for casters to some degree?
You're completely right. I mean, not to be this guy like the rest of Reddit, but I mean, it's exactly like you're talking about. Like, sorry to name drop, but look at OD Pixel. I knew that dude like 9 months ago, Mm-hmm. We met on Pyrian's stream, and he was blah, blah, blah. He's been working at it forever, and then he finally, like 2 weeks ago, got his moment. And it just happened. And he didn't change anything. He's not, like, growing or anything. He's always been that. And it's always been that, and it's just that lucky little strike. But you're absolutely right. You just have to keep being yourself, trying to be entertaining and stuff like that. And then there's people out there that aren't entertaining. I'm not going to say names, that are super successful, too.
Yeah, it's true. Everybody's got their niche, and there's weird appeals, and some of it is timing, just being in the right place at the right time, being the only high quality. There was a point where if you had a 720p stream, you stood apart of all the other streams just based on quality alone. Most of the other ones looked like potatoes. Even if it's a pro player, people would still kind of rather watch you talk about something where they can actually see it and hear it rather than some bullshit where you just hear from a keyboard and mouse. But. Are you a stand-up guy? Do you like that sounded wrong. I know you're a stand-up guy. Do you like stand-up comedy? Do you Kinda. What does that mean? Kinda.
No. What were you saying?
Do you like stand-up comedy? Or are you
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I've always been a fan.
Who do you like? Who are your favorites, Slacks?
Oh, I gotta say Louis C.K. is absolutely.
Oh, I could have guessed that. I suppose. I see a lot of influence there. Anyone else? He's pretty good. I mean, I like him.
I don't know. I used to be a really big fan of Joe Rogan. I thought he was hilarious, but he's been getting more and more sour lately. So
he is he's getting older. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, though. I like him a lot. I like his podcast. I like the type of podcast he does. So there's a lot of variety. He's just a cool guy. I don't agree with everything he does, but he's an entertaining dude.
Really weird.
You ever listen to Jim Jeffries?
No. Who's that?
Oh my, he's an Australian guy. very different from you, but I think the polarizing aspect is a little bit similar in the context of your sort of different professions. He's just very vulgar and very honest, and has this very blunt way of storytelling. It's usually a mixture of storytelling about drugs, sex, religion, and various other political issues. Like this most recent special, he talks about guns and does this whole bit about how much he hates guns and all this kind of stuff. And it's really good. I really like it. And I remember right when he made his new special, the average review on Netflix was like 2.5 or something, and he tweeted something out that said, rating it a 1 or a 2 is way more, or rating it a 2 or a 3 is way more offensive than a 1, because if it's a 1, I know it just wasn't for you and you just didn't get it. And that's cool. I understand that this is polarizing, and there's a lot of people out there that don't want to hear me say cunt 50 times in an hour, but there's also a lot of people that do. So I just thought that was an interesting bit of feedback, where there's like a lot of haters and people that really hate you out there, but at the same time, there's a large portion of them that just they don't get it. It's not for them, and that's cool. And they're just really upset that they're upset about it. So I don't know why people feel the need. I don't like this. I don't have to watch it, but I'm going to tell you how much I hate it. Okay, thank you. I don't just okay.
Well, I like that. I like people that do constructive criticism, and just like that guy said. I mean, it's one thing if you watch something and you're like, holy shit, this guy's voice is the worst thing I've ever heard. I shut it off immediately, and I'm like, no worries. But then that guy's right. When someone's like, I've been a fan for a while, and just the quality on this one was just bad. That twists the knife right there. That's where it hurts. So I can feel that though.
That hurts. That's a similar feeling to that. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Son of a fucking bitch. Fuck
sorry,
you.
Dad.
Oh, God. Now I just feel terrible.
Ooh. Well, hey, luckily, though, I mean, you got to look on the bright side. Things are always good. Look at you, Zyori. Look at how good your life is now.
Yeah, am I living the dream, Slacks? See, that's
it.
It's interesting how the grass is always greener. It's a natural human trait / shortcoming. I would almost label it to just want things that you don't have. Even if they're not really better, it just feels like, oh, but if only I could do X, then all these other things would fall into line. But I mean, I look at someone like you and think, damn, you got the dream going on. You had a okay job, a shit job. I don't know what you would label. Where were you? A manager at a restaurant? Is that right?
Yeah.
Would you call that a shit job?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so a shit job to pay the bills, right? And you get to you're grinding your way up, and now you were able to quit that bullshit to do something you really like that's fun, where you entertain people and you have total control, and you're fucking around and making your own schedule and having fun and living with your girlfriend or fiance or wife, whatever the fuck she is. That's the dream, man. You got a bunch of dogs, some little cuddlers at night. That's great. Yeah. That's great, Slacks. I work like 80 hours a week. I don't go on dates. I sleep alone. It's okay. I don't hate my life, but it's far from the dream. I mean, no one at the BTS house thinks the way we're living right now is the end-all, be-all, where we want to be. Everyone is still dreaming of the day when we can slow down a little bit, and not everybody has to grind so hard, and there's a little more structure, and there's just a little more work and personal life separation, because it's more than full-time. You really got to dive in knee deep. I mean, Charlie's in chat here. I'm sure he can attest to that. You can't really just check in and check out of esports. You can't say, well, I want to go on vacation at this time and deal with it. It's you have to everything revolves around tournament schedules and events and traveling and when you're needed and when you're not, and the constant political game of worrying about, what did I say? Did I fuck this up? Am I improving? Do I know what's going on? It's a stressful lifestyle, man. It really is. I'm sprouting gray hairs left and right.
I hear that. But I hear a lot of bitching, but at the same time...
Well, that was a slew of negatives, because you were like, you're living the dream, so I'm trying to counteract here and be a little polarizing. But I'm just pointing out that I think both of us are living the dream to some degree, but why does it feel like both of us think the other one is way better? Would we gladly switch lives for a day, then realize, God damn, this sucks ass. I want to go back to my thing, and then we'd realize how good we have it. Is there some Freaky Friday movie? Can we call up Lindsay Lohan and get this shit going?
Oh, we should. Next April Fool's. That sounds good to me. You get to touch Coddle Guy, though, so how can your life be that bad?
Oh, God.
I dream of touching.
Dude, Dakota is amazing. He is, that man. I can't wait till he moves out here, man. That man adds just, he adds a good vibe around the studio.
Yeah. I will say most people think that the grass is always greener, but on your neighbor's lawn, but that's mostly because he has more shit than you do. So, there you go.
That's
you
another
got more shit
You're
than
full
I
of
do,
these great quips, man.
Shut up, Zyori. But yeah. No, I completely understand. But at the same time, I mean, that's such a cool thing that what you've been able to do is to be solidified in the scene. You know, you never have to worry about like falling out or anything. Like you're part of a studio.
Are you kidding me? Everybody has to worry about falling out. LD couldn't just go on holiday for 6 months and then come back and be the same guy that he is now.
6 months is more than a fucking holiday. That's call the police.
Where
the hell is LD?
That's a sabbatical. Okay, I mean, I see what you mean. As long as you're somewhat consistent. Yeah, that's true. But people have fallen out of favor over time. I guess it's because they just get involved with other stuff and kind of fall off there. But I mean, look at AC. Would you just chalk that up just to him not casting that much?
I don't know. Isn't he rich now? I thought he was part of something that got sold to Twitch.
I mean, well, he worked for GGA during the buyout. I don't know if he owns some of it. I mean, I'm friends with him, but I don't know that much about his current financial situation in terms of...
I thought he was a millionaire.
Quote, are you rich? Well, let me get him on the horn. Hey, Aaron, how much did you get for that buyout, dog? Are you retiring?
You rich now?
Yeah. You saying fuck Dota, yo? You don't need that shit? Did you get the fuck you money? That's what everyone dreams of. Winning TI so you can get fuck you money. You can sit back and someone wants you to do something you don't like. You say, fuck you. What are you going to do about it? I can own you, son. You know, that's
always been my dream. I just want
to
work hard enough until I can sell out.
I just want to have a golden urinal. That's all I really want. I want to piss on gold. That's how you know you've made it.
You know, you could actually get something where you get gold flakes in your food and poop gold. Did you know that?
Really? Is it worth it?
Do.
I guess that's
a real thing.
That's like one of the most extravagant things you can do. I don't care about gold. I'm going to eat it and then poop it out so that it gets messed up in the sewage system and gets lost forever. That's value.
But you can show other people your golden shit. I mean, that's when you know you've made it.
So you have a dinner party and you pause dinner. You bring everybody into the bathroom. You see that? You see those sprinkles? Like, the issue I have with that is how often are you showing other people your poop?
I think it's used as an insult.
Okay. Even if it has gold sprinkles.
On time? Come here. Look at this. My shit is worth more than you, friend.
Damn. That's true. That's true. That's the ultimate in slap. That hurts more than a fish.
We've gone quite off topic. Should we talk about
Slacks,
anything
that's
else?
what podcasting is all about. Anecdotes and getting off topic. I absolutely have to admit that's what I'm here for. That's when the good stuff comes out. Those little bits of truth, you know, those little nuggets of Slacks knowledge.
Nuggets? We're still talking about poo. We got to move on, buddy. We got to go.
Okay. So what would you say there's drawbacks to being the streamer? Like for someone like me that would say, you're living the dream, your life is awesome, I wish I could be you. If someone were to say that to you, what would your retort be? What are the drawbacks of being a full-time personal streamer?
Well, the drawback really would just be the time commitment, really. I mean, to be honest with you, I have not had like what I'm doing today, where I'm not working on a video, not planning out something new, not answering emails. I haven't had one of those in probably 6 months. It's just a 12 to 12. But you are very busy too, so I know that that's not anything that's going to get sympathy from you. But
I mean, I bet I can empathize at least. I don't have to sympathize, but I got you. I know what the grind is like, and you feel like everyone you talk to, and when you're still kind of up and coming, like you still have a lot of growth that can happen. So you're in that point where you feel like every little bit counts. Every fan matters, and every email, this could be the one that leads to some sort of a sponsorship deal or something that can actually make this fucking legit, you know?
Right.
Take this to the next level. So I know what that grind feels like when you just want to keep pushing until you can really break through.
Exactly, right. And then, I don't know, I mean, streaming itself, one thing that a lot of people don't know or don't understand is, like, you take somebody like PPD, for instance. I mean, he could do whatever he wants. If he streams, he's going to get a ton of people because his stream is actually useful. People go there to learn something, you know? Pro players and stuff, they want to watch him not only for the Twitch chat, but also it's good viewing, and he doesn't have to make it, like, particularly interesting. Not to say that he's not, but people will just tune in for that. I mean, when you're somebody like an entertainer, like Period Flax or, you know, something like that, you have to put in effort to make it into a show. And it's like writing, directing, and doing all that stuff for your own show. And that's time-consuming. If you miss a day streaming, you'll go and see you lost 10 subbers or whatever. I mean, it's just rough. It's finicky. But it's the best job in the world, too. So I can't complain that much. I love it. I absolutely love it, and I can't really imagine having a normal job anymore like I used to have, which is a real big problem, because I can't put professional Twitch streamer on my resume
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
that's so bad.
I honestly, I think you can. You just have to label it right. I don't know. I'm honestly, I hate the resume model. It's total bullshit. I'm way more useful and better at things than my resume would have you believe, or any resume would really have you believe. It's just I
Right.
feel like I can't encompass my experience and utility as an individual on a fucking piece of paper with some bullet point lists with some fancy lingo about shit I did 10 years ago. Like it's just eh.
I used to work at a pizzeria.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
I mean, Jesus, who cares?
yeah, I empathize with you though. I can't imagine having a real job. I mean, I don't know where I draw the line at real job. Like I feel like I could work for some big developer or something, but I couldn't imagine working at a like real 9 to 5 where it's kind of like a retail job or something where it's really strict and you just have to clock in and clock out and there's like limited flexibility and it's just kind of silly, you know. I want some flexibility, man. You know, I want to go.
Yeah.
You got to do you sometimes. You got to take the lady out, you know?
Yeah, take the lady out, Zyori. Go
So,
on. Go get 'em.
how's your lady, Slacks?
Oh, she good. She good. She got a job at a jewelry store, and she's starting to talk about rings now.
Oh,
A lot.
great.
So,
I'm sure
pretty
that's
worried.
that's
Pretty
fun.
worried.
How long have you guys been living together? I can't remember.
We've been living together for 3 years now, and we've been
Jesus.
going out for 4 years. So
Wow. That's serious business. You guys are basically married.
pretty much, yeah. And I got no problem with that. I
I got no problems. That's good.
got no problem with that. I don't know. I'm a very when I make when I decide to go for something, I go for it. So I went for
Okay.
her, and I thought, whenever I try to approach something, I say, could I spend not the rest of my life, maybe, but can I spend like years and years trying to get this goal? And she was a yes. Dota 2 work esports is a yes. So that's where I go. I see
Really-
something, I go for it.
Really
100.
living the dream.
So that's
Well, that's
it.
cool. What was her take on the transition from normal job to streaming? Is she keen on it?
It was interesting. For the first year and a half, she didn't know I played video games. That was
How does that happen?
she would go to sleep and I'd stay up all night after sitting in the bed for an hour. It was
So
rough.
you wait. You would go to sleep with her, and then as soon as she starts snoring, you'd pop up and go, "Time to game!" And then for the
Yeah,
next
I
8 hours,
was-
you're just fucking slaying noobs and goddamn.
like my first stupid voices in Dota 2 videos. That was her sleeping in the other room and me at like 3 in the morning and shit. It was rough. I was like the Walter White of Dota 2.
Jesus.
It was rough. Because I thought,
Jesus.
like, girl, she's not going to be into it. She doesn't want to date a gamer or something because it's so nerdy
Wow.
and stuff. And she's
Slacks,
like,
this is
hot
breaking
chick.
my heart. You sound so insecure about your Dota dreams, or at least you
I
did.
was. I
Oh.
was. And then it turned into something more at around TI4. That was when I told her, like, hey, I do this. I play video games. I brought her in. It was like I brought her into the secret world, and she loved it, and it worked out perfectly.
See, you had nothing to be afraid of, man. Have
I
some faith
really
in your girl.
Yep. That's the story. It was a beautiful Disney-like tale,
Oh,
except
my.
it's more about nerds, but
That's
it was
good.
wonderful.
That's really good. I enjoyed meeting her at TI4. It was very interesting. I guess that was the first time you and I really met as well. One of the first things you
Was.
ever said to me was, "Hey, do you want to do an interview in a bathroom?" And I just thought to myself, "Fuck yeah! Why the hell not? Let's do this thing."
I was so scared to talk to you, but I
Yeah.
thought you would definitely be up for the bathroom interview.
Did you have fears of going up to other people like that and then just being like, "How about you fuck off?" Like, was that a real fear, or is it? I mean, how?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fucking capitalist. I literally did not talk to capitalist the entire TI4.
Why?
He
He's
would
pretty
walk by
friendly.
me and I wouldn't say a word. And I worked with him at ESL, and he's the nicest, funnest dude around. But I was just like, holy shit, it's capitalist. He would like sit behind me and be like, "Good game, huh?" And I'd be like, "Yes, sir." I'm like, what? I don't know what the fuck.
Jesus, why? Because he was in the military or something? I mean, he's not that much of a hard ass.
You got to remember, Zyori, a lot of people, like, I came from just, like, some guy who played fucking Dota 2, and I started, like, 6 months before TI4. You've been in the scene for a very long time. You meet people, and you're like, oh, hi, I know that you from this, this, and this. This
Yeah.
is, like, yeah.
Well,
I'm
now.
still like that. Like, I fucking met James 2D Harding the other day, and I was like, oh, hello, James.
I mean, I've barely met
terrifying.
James. He was on in the studio once after TI. That was kind of interesting, but there were like 3 other people there, so I didn't really have much one-on-one time. The only time I talked to him was at TI, and I was hanging out with Jess Brohard when they were a thing, and he just came out and basically scurried her away so they could go out to eat and do it. So, I mean, he was preoccupied. I've never had a meaningful conversation with him.
Yeah.
You know?
God, meeting Charlie, holy shit. I was at ESL, and Charlie, you know Charlie, right?
Yes, I know Charlie.
I'm trying to like talk to him, and I'm really nervous about talking to him because I'm still
Charlie? Why?
Yeah,
What do you think he's gonna
very
do?
intimidating. You know, he walks in the room, he's got his suit on.
Okay, I see that.
We're suiting up, we're going out, and I was like talking to Greg, what is hip, and I'm like, man, I really want to talk to Charlie. I know that he's really funny because I know you're friends with him and stuff, but I'm really scared about whatever getting to know him. And Greg is like, oh, you want to talk to Charlie? Well, he'll not talk to you if you try to talk to him like a normal person. Just like talk shit to him and he'll open up. So I'm like watching the game, and EG did something retarded, and I was like, hey, nice play, Charlie. That was fucking retarded. And he's like, fuck you. And then it went off. And then we started talking. So
there you go.
It's just like when you're on the lowest level, you look at people like you, Zyori, terrified to talk to you, and you're just like, they're gods. They want nothing to do with me, and you don't know that they're real people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember. I started doing Dota radio just as I came up with the idea when I was drunk on vacation in Florida. And I went to my computer and looked up DotaRadio.com and saw, holy shit, this isn't taken. This is an original idea. No one's done this yet. Fucking A, man, let's do it. And I got back and started working on a website and scrapped the whole thing together. Then we started doing the Dota Radio morning show, which, if you recall, Charlie was a part of, you know, before he worked for EG. And we just wanted to use the project as a way to kind of stay relevant, fill a niche that wasn't really being filled since Mad was like on sort of a semi-permanent hiatus. And you know, we were both Charlie and I were on that cusp of trying to find something full-time in esports, but still hadn't really found the perfect thing yet, and we're just trying to keep our resumes current, sort of a deal. And then we had Hippie or Chris, I don't know if you know him, who I was casting with a lot at the time since he had some free time on his hands. So I remember like the first time Gods added me on Skype just to chit-chat, just, hey, I noticed you've been doing some stuff. I saw you got some threads on Reddit. What are you up to there, you know? And then I went and met the guys at MLG Columbus, and the rest is sort of history. That was that one meal, man. I happened to be in the right place at the right time. They invited me to be on the couch just kind of randomly because I did it for free and flew myself out there. And I was in the VIP area, and LD had a little break on Saturday night, and he said, hey, you want to go grab some food? And he got me a little ticket, and we sat down and ate, and I talked his ear off about Heroes of New Earth and Dota and all the shit that I'd done and Charlie and all this stuff. And, after the event, like 3 days later, I got a message asking if I wanted to do the remote coverage for Starladder Season 8, and there you go.
Yeah, there it is. It's, as you said, it's a mix of luck and being positive and just
yeah.
being there
but
at the right
I remember
time.
being starstruck. I remember thinking, oh my God, Gods is messaging me right now.
Right?
I wonder what he wants. It's scary, but fun. It gives you that tingling feeling that you don't get very often in life.
Ugh. All right, so anyway, how's work going for you, man? You got Summit coming up. You so much shit on your plate.
No, it's good. We're getting to that point where the crunch is starting to begin, where we're having our big meeting, I think tomorrow, about talent and how we're going to do the casting and rig things up. This Summit is definitely a little bit different than the others. Since we bumped up from 6 teams to 8 teams, it adds a whole nother layer of logistics because the house isn't big enough for 8 teams to be here all the time. With 6 teams, basically there is a point where everyone that's involved with the event will be at the house. By like midday or so, everyone's here eating, hanging out, and there's plenty of space. But with all the extra bodies, we're having to set up a practice area at the hotel for the players so that we can bus people back and forth, and there's always places to play or watch streams or warm up or just do whatever you need to do, and that's just a whole extra thing. So that's kind of fun and exciting. I've learned a lot about hotels and how to haggle with hotel managers. That's actually kind of fun. I really like haggling, Slacks. I did some of that in China, and I got the bug. Anytime I get the chance now, I was like, 120. You think could you do like 116? Is that doable? It's fun. It's really just a power play. It's not even about the money. It's just knowing that you had a number and I talked you out of it. That's me. Deal with it.
What a dick.
It feels good.
Could I get a coffee? Oh, $4 on your menu.
No, you
What
don't
if I
haggle
give you
bullshit like that.
$3.50?
Stuff that's supposed to be haggled. I don't go to Best Buy. I'm like, oh, this headset, $32.50, huh? How about $31.78? I'm not that guy. I'm not trying to waste my time, but with hotels or like, I don't know, what's other stuff like cars? I don't know, rental prices on stuff, shit like that. That's all arbitrary. You can haggle the fuck out of them. They're fine with it.
They're fine with it. They
love it. They're trying to haggle me up. That's like they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They're trying to power play. They want to make you their bitch. I'm serious, man. They'll get you over the barrel. They don't give a shit. Just like when I was in Malaysia, I did the whole. I was a dum-dum. I did the I'm a confused tourist. Please help me thing, and I paid like 2x what I was supposed to for a taxi. I paid like $80 to get to the airport, and they were like, "Oh, no, you got ripped off, man. It should have been half that." And then they fucking stole my credit card. So
holy shit!
Did you not hear about this?
They fucked you.
Yeah, they fucked me, dude. They had me over a barrel. They don't give a shit.
Oh Jesus. That's one thing about esports too. I mean, people are always trying to fuck you too. You gotta stand your ground, baby.
Yeah.
You gotta be rough and tough.
Definitely. But no, it's been pretty good. These qualifiers have been really cool. I think the way we changed the online format was good. We found like that a pretty good model where it's not a lot of games, but it's enough that they're really hype. The phase 1, the phase 2 things where the other teams get seeded in. So that's exciting. I'm pumped up for this summit. We're definitely making some changes. I think last time we tried to do too much, and this time we're cutting some things out so that we just have more resources available to make sure everything's all set up and good. We're going to have we're going to move all our shit out like 3 weeks ahead of time. And make sure everything is set up and perfectly tested, and it's going to be fun, but be sleeping on the floor for a while. I don't know. I'm only half looking forward to it.
I don't know. I mean, not to fondle your balls a little too hard though, but I kind of liked all the errors on the summit too. I think that was some of my favorite parts.
Well,
was
I'm
just
glad
seeing
you
everybody
liked
hang out during pauses and stuff. So
a lot of
I'm
people
sure you guys
that
will
didn't
figure
like
it out. Say what? Sorry.
I'm glad you liked it, but there's a lot of people that didn't like it. Hopefully, if we can have working computers this time, that'll be a step in the right direction. Dude, that shit was, the thing that people that always chats when I ask people like, you should have tested things. It's like, all right, first of all, we did test things a little bit. You are right that we should have tested more. We didn't completely stress test them, but we did basic testing. Like, they worked for a little while. But you always account for some computers being bad. We said we needed like 25. We had 40. We had a surplus of 15 computers. That's way more than you should need for that amount of PCs. We chewed through all of them in like 8 hours. By that point, we had no backup PCs. It's just you can't really plan for that. It's just every single one of the systems had some sort of bad BIOS ribbon thing that caused them to overheat and get all fucked up. It was just some really weird, obscure thing that got messed up with some firmware update or something. I forget exactly what it was. Like, they had a whole team of people here trying to fix the computers. The problem, the troubleshooter guys weren't really that great at troubleshooting. They kept having these brilliant ideas. Well, let's replace the memory in all of the computers. I'm like, well, that's not a good use of your time. You have no There's nothing indicating that the memory is the sole problem here. Well, let's replace all the video cards. Like, same issue. So they figured it out, but it was already too late. We'd already gotten other computers from just Red Bull bailed us out, actually. So there you go.
Oh, we're dropping it again.
It's true. We got computers from Red Bull. They've got connections to get us PCs. So there you go.
Oh my god.
No,
I mean, I've never been to an esports event. Excuse me, my pug just headbutted me. I've never been to an esports event where there wasn't like a computer problem. It just happens.
We're going to change that at the Summit 3. This is going to be the first esports event that doesn't have significant computer problems. No, it is absolutely our highest priority. Like, everyone was just so upset and frustrated, and just no one here wants to experience that ever again. So there is every precaution possible to make sure these computers are going to be fucking good, tested, primed up, ready to rock and roll, lubed up, whatever you need. Like, fucking Christ, if there's one thing this summit is going to have go right, is that these computers are going to work, goddammit. That is like one thing our team has been dedicated to. Partially out of selfish needs, because that was one of the worst experiences of my life, Slacks. It's one of those, you ever have one of those times when you just want to cover your ears and just be like, everyone is yelling at me, stop yelling at me. It was that kind of moment for our entire staff, when it's just all of our shit is breaking, And we do not have enough resources to fix all of it right now. It got to the point where we were just like, okay, how many people here know how to build computers? If I just order fucking 40 computers worth of parts online from Newegg right now and we go pick it up, how many of these bitches can we build by game time tomorrow? You know, we were just in full panic mode, calling LAN cafes. Do you have any computers that I can rent? Well, sir, we don't really do that kind of thing. I have money. I don't give a fuck. Can you make it happen? You know, just somebody please save me. It was really pure panic mode when you're having a tournament and 50% of your computers are just broken. They won't even turn on. That is... Dude,
I have to
you're
say, from
fucking...
a spectator view, though, you guys handle it well. I didn't
thank you.
Thank you, any
Slacks.
of that as a spectator. I thought you guys were having a great time.
Well, the people that were there at the event just hanging out had a great time, I think. That's one thing we do well, but...
God, yeah, same deal. I've seen it. Every single thing that I've ever gone to, that happens. That's there.
All right,
Fucking
well.
ESL, all their computers went out, and the iBuyPower guy was sitting in the hallway with his head in his hands. That's the saddest thing I've ever seen.
That is pretty heartbreaking, actually.
He was just like, and I'm like, oh my God.
That sucks because you know it's not that guy's fault. You know he didn't order the specs. You know he didn't build the computers, but he's the guy that's responsible for them at this event. It's like, oh. That's the problem with those show computers is they get passed around all over the world. So they're constantly being boxed up and knocked around, and usually they're like really cool and sexy. Like the parts that you can advertise are really top notch, but the power supplies are usually shit. The motherboards are sometimes pretty crummy, and I don't know. They just usually have issues of sorts.
They should do it like poor people lands. It should be bring your own computer, bro.
Bring your own. Yeah, I'm sure the players would love that. They get to the airport and they're all carrying their desktop. You know, that would be great.
I feel like the military. They could have these big ass backpacks on, and that's just their lives. They just go. I mean, they have it so easy, right? Pro players, so easy.
Dude, talk about a stressful lifestyle. That is.
God.
As much fun and glory as it that you have when you win, I don't know that if I could give it all up and be a pro player, like if I was good enough, if I was like Syndran and I could be a pro player or one of the best casters, I feel like I'd be pretty tempted to go the casting route. It's just, it's like being a professional poker player, kind of. It's just, you can be really good at it, but there's still times where you just lose. Same thing happens in Dota. You could play the game perfectly, but maybe it's one of your teammates that messes up, or maybe it's just a slightly wrong draft, or just one of those tiny little judgment calls, and, you know, the TI fucking 3 Game 5 Dream Coil bullshit. Just what if you just had it over and with just one person that TP's back? It's a totally different thing. Just a super stressful lifestyle.
Yeah.
I am not envious of
that.
It's great if you're one of the top tier players and you can consistently place like top 5 at big tournaments, you know, like your EGs, your Secrets, your Cloud9s. Then you make a pretty decent living. You get a salary, and your winnings alone are pretty substantial when you're talking about events like the TI and DAC, and I mean even the Summit is a decent, you know, prize pool for individual payouts. But outside of that, if you're like a Power Rangers or something, or you're like a consistently top 10, top 15 kind of team, it's tough. You feel like you're one loss away from your team falling apart. I'm not envious of that kind of lifestyle. It's tough. It's a rough life, Slacks.
I actually know. I went to there's a local place called Clutch in Colorado, and there's a couple guys from Team Leviathan that I've known for a really long time.
Oh, which ones? Jenkins?
Jenkins. Yeah.
Really? Is he a badass in real life? Because I like him on Twitter.
He could. Shredder, too.
Shredder? What a badass. That's all. You know those guys?
Yeah, they're local. I used to play at Clutch all the time because I used to have a really bad computer before the Indiegogo.
Are you in Colorado Springs? Is that right? Or is it Denver?
No. I'm up near Boulder.
Boulder. That's it.
Boulder, in between Boulder and Denver. So I used to go to this local LAN thing, and they'd be there, and they'd do like the Dota 2 tournaments and shit, and just awesome guys. And I'm talking to them, and they're like moving to a house in Florida to, you know, try to get more intense and try to get that TI invite and work their way up. And it's just, Jesus Christ. As somebody who's not into the scene, it's incredible. You think that these players just like, you know, chill out, go play some games once in a while. It's shit's like the military. I don't even know. It's horrific.
No, it's intense. No, it's really intense. I'm glad to hear that about the Leviathan guys, though. I like that group. That's a really interesting team. That Dakota is a big reason that they started to break through a little bit, because he was the one that made the call to put them in the qualifiers for Summit 2. He's kind of our resident NA Dota expert, so anytime we're doing qualifiers or talking about teams and hierarchy, we go to him kind of as our go-to guy. What team should we invite? Who are the up-and-coming teams? And he suggested Leviathan as kind of a wild card to fill a final slot. And they fucking performed. And here in Summit 3, they've had a pretty good run. They're still in it. I'm going to be casting them later today, and we'll see how they do fighting for elimination. I think is it Wheel that they're playing today, maybe?
Yeah.
Or E-Hug. It's a big day. So
I'm a little worried about them, though, because they invite me to play with them sometimes.
Uh-oh.
And like last time we played, I played like techies, and I was like 17-2. So that's not good.
Slacks.
Like if I'm as good as them, that's not good.
I'll tell Jenkins today. I'll give him the load. I'm like, listen, Jenkins, if you guys really want to take this shit to the next level, you got to cut out Slacks. You got to give him the boot.
Don't talk to that dude. He sucks.
He's bringing you down, man. Oh, Jesus.
No, but they're amazing. And it's, yeah.
That's
anyway,
cool. That's
we're
cool.
off topic. So.
No, it's good. So I want to talk about Vulcan a little bit, man. Speaking of sponsor plugs, I want to talk about just the nature of sponsors a little bit. And it's such this is to reference Joe Rogan. One thing that they do that's really cool is they have the luxury to have sponsors for things that they actually like. Squarespace or that fucking phone that he likes or Stamps.com, all these little things that he uses in his daily life. It's pretty easy to sell because, well, you use it and you like it. All that workout bullshit, those stupid little kettlebells and shit. I feel like the Vulcan site is like that for me. I've been dreaming of a good fantasy league for esports for a while. It's tried and true, established in regular sports. North American football is all about it. Lots of money to be made or lost depending on how good you are. I feel like Vulcan's doing a pretty cool thing here, and I'm not going to lie. I've been making fantasy drafts every opportunity I get, and so far I'm a little hit or miss. I should have put Puppy in instead of Zy the other day, and I probably would have won some money, but it's cool, Slacks. What do you think about fantasy leagues? I'm kind of curious what your take is on this whole thing.
What is Vulcan? No.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh, my.
I mean, it's interesting. Fantasy leagues are something that people get extremely into and extremely, like, oh my god, this is awesome. And then the other people, like me, kind of are just like, what? Like, I don't have time for that. What the fuck is this? So, I mean, okay. I wish I had more to talk about it, but it's always cool to see stuff like this popping up people might hate me for this, but to make it more like real sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not being that guy.
So you don't like things that make it more like real sports?
No, I'm saying it's good.
It's good.
Interesting. And
Sorry, I zoned out for a second. I was reading Twitch chat. Yeah, no, I like it. I'm okay with that. I don't have an issue with esports taking some strides to be more like real sports. I don't think it's a one-to-one. I don't think we want to strive for that kind of a rigid model, but there's a lot of good things that real sports has that esports doesn't, and I think this is certainly one of them.
Now, do you think that there will ever be a time where, like, I don't know. I've always had this dream about esports that, like, one day it will be, like, the thing, like, the big one. And I understand that, like, should we be on ESPN? I personally don't think so. I think that that's stupid.
I think it's neutral. I don't think it hurts, but I don't think it is. I don't feel like that's a metric for us making it. I think that's cool. If ESPN wants to give esports some mainstream exposure, sweet, I'm down. I'd be happy to do a segment. I think that's cool. That's a nice talking point at a cocktail party. I was on ESPN once, but I don't see how that really changes anything or changes the paradigm. I mean, that kind of traditional media is very scared of new media. It seems a little backwards for us to really be like, we really want to go on TV and have these strict contracts, not be able to say fuck and not have any fun and do all this stuff that we really like doing because it's on the internet. Right. Why would we want to do that?
But do you think that one day it will be like comparable viewer count wise? Do you think that esports will be like TI4 will be like the Super Bowl? What do you think in the next 10 to 15 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think LCS has already proved that. The numbers that Riot puts up are completely comparable to real TV, holding 200, 300K concurrents on Twitch. The key difference for their numbers are that there's no Dota TV for them. So there's one way to watch. You got to go on to Twitch. Well, I guess you can watch it on Azubu and YouTube, but Twitch is the place. That's by far and large the most viewed channel on Twitch is the official Riot channel for LCS. So those numbers are really fucking good. I mean, they sold out the Staples Center. They were broadcasting to millions of viewers when they did the whole South Korea thing. That was like a blockbuster of an event, ridiculously huge, opening ceremonies like with huge amounts of detail, live bands like Imagine Dragons, all this kind of bullshit, completely over the top. I mean, that's as real as it gets. Riot has over 1,000 employees. They have a full TV quality studio in their office. You know, it's not just some people sitting around on XSplit. It's the real fucking deal. They've got camera operators, big budget. Like, they have more money than they know what to fucking do with, man. They can just keep. You ever go to their website and look at the hiring page? They're hiring like 100 jobs all the time. There's always churning them out. We need coordinators and support staff and writers and content producers and programmers, and we're pushing the envelope. Come on! You have these skills. Please apply. They're all about it. The growth is ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I think esports in general can definitely do that. I think Dota needs a little more structure to get there. Right now, if you're a really hardcore avid fan and you watch a lot and pay close attention and know that Eternal Envy and a Sokka Taiga are the same person, Dota's awesome and really fun for you. But as a newcomer that doesn't just know this shit randomly, it's hard to follow what's going on. Teams are constantly changing rosters. There's no real stability for trades and swaps. There's no central league for you to easily follow. If you're, think about football. You don't really have to watch NFL games to kind of keep up with what's going on and what the current scores are, because it's very simple. It's very straightforward. There's a very small amount of games. It's very digestible, Dota's not digestible. There's a ton of tournaments and everybody's going here and going there, and some teams are in some tournaments, and then there's stand-ins, and who's this stand-in? I don't know. His profile's private and he doesn't have a proper tag. Oh, well, okay. We'll figure it out later. It's a whole clusterfuck. So I think to really push those big numbers, if we're in the context of Dota, there needs to be a little more consistency and stability. But LCS has already proved that there are a lot of people that really fucking like watching video games.
Yeah. I mean, my personal theory with why it's getting so popular is, like, you watch football and say, wow, this is fun, I could get behind this and stuff. But that's as far as it goes, I mean, when you're watching Dota, say, wow, this is really fun, look at what he's doing, I'm going to do that. Like, I can do this in my games, I can get better. And it kind of puts you, has more of a connection for you, So that's why I think that one day, esports might be a really big thing, because it makes the audience member not just feel like they can play the game like those guys, but maybe teach them stuff to play the game better, make them more involved, and make more of that. But you're absolutely right. I think you hit the nail on the head there, that it's consistency. I mean, I love, like, I'm a huge fan of EG, but what does that mean? Like, every season, the players might change, I mean, what are you going to do? I would really like Cloud9, and then my favorite player from Cloud9 went to a different team. So, I mean, it's hard to... You're just kind of like a fan of Dota rather than like a fan of specific stuff.
Yeah. So, it's a shame that there aren't more teams that are consistent. Like, I think EG is a team that you can really sink your teeth into, that's had a pretty consistent roster, that's put up consistently good results. But that's a minority. Secret's another pretty good example. Cloud9's another pretty good example. Even Alliance, even though they've traded players around a lot, Loda and Ake have been staples of that team. So there is a homogenous feel to all these iterations of Alliance, still have that same kind of atmosphere to some degree. It's still predominantly Swedish and all this kind of stuff. But most teams don't have that kind of branding and star power for you to really follow. And I mean, I guess the old Na'Vi was really kind of like that, and the old Fnatic as well. But these are just kind of minor examples. There's a lot of other teams that are just way less stable. Tinker's a good example of this. They're always changing their roster. Now Black's on them. Every time I hear a new iteration, I think, oh, that's a pretty cool mix of players. But they don't really stick around long enough for people to easily say, I'm a big Team Tinker fan. It's like, well, what does that even mean? You've been a fan of like 10 different players over the past 3 months. It's hard to really get your fandom going. You can't even get their autographs in that amount of time,
Right.
So
can you sign like you were still on Beachy Gaming? Like, I really liked you back then.
That would be so good. You get a T-shirt and get all the Vici players, and then the last guys are like, "How? No, sorry, I don't want it." Then you just go to Black. Can you just sign here, please? And just like fold it over so he can't see the other signatures, and he just accidentally signs right below. And then you write in the Vici. I like that. That's good.
Ooh, that's rough.
Dude, in Malaysia, I signed a lot of shit. I signed laptops. I signed cell phones without cases. I signed body parts, shirts, pants, mouses, mouse pads, keyboards. Like, I feel bad signing someone's laptop. I every time I would say to him, "Are you sure you want this? You actually want me to scribble my name on, this is where you work, sir. This is your pride and joy. This is how you plug in. And you want me on it. Okay, I'll do it." But it freaks me out a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
So you're saying that people let you touch them? It's interesting.
A little. I signed a little bit of skin, not much. It is Malaysia after all. It's like 75% Muslim, but there were a few people there that, wanted. I signed a Shagbark and I signed a Furion.
Oh,
I signed plushies.
sick. I
Yeah.
usually sign on the F9 key when people ask me to sign shit.
Why?
So I'm like, every time you get pissed, just press this button. I'll be there. Every time you need to pause, Slacks is there with you. People like that.
That's
F9.
good. That's very good. I like how Dendy signs. Dendy the Superman.
I love Dendy.
Oh yeah.
Out of all the pro players that I've met,
I mean, how could you not? How could you not love him?
yeah, I don't know.
He's
like
one of the most lovable
You see
people.
their online personalities, and then you're like, oh, that's who it's gonna be, and then you go and try to meet them, and you're like, oh, this guy's completely different. But Dondo is not that. He is like absolutely the same dude.
Yeah.
That-
Dendy,
It's
he's
awesome.
he's really an incredible guy. It takes a lot of maturity and prowess to always be that positive all the time in an industry that's so stressful and competitive. He's so conscious about how he is in public and how his fans see him, and I think he's just a genuinely nice guy, but he's kind of mastered that art of less is more, seeing him on stage at these events and stuff, or like at DAC when he was doing the all that extra bullshit, like the 1v1 and at the end with Mushi, and say something to scare Mushi, and he just goes boo, into the microphone, and the crowd cracks up and starts going crazy, and he makes all these facial expressions, and he's just really talented. I don't know. It's hard to kind of explain. I guess I'm just jerking him off right now, but he's he tries really hard, I guess is what I'm saying. He's really good at making it seem easy, but it's definitely not to keep your composure like that all the time. When everywhere he goes at esports events, he's just mobbed and flocked by people when he's out in public, and everybody loves him and wants to take a picture with him. And then on top of that, he's on a team that hasn't really been performing that well recently. I mean, you have to imagine he's getting pretty fucking mad when his team gets eliminated in the first round of a qualifier.
Right, exactly.
And
it's hard.
When was the last time you saw Dendy tweet something salty or do anything remotely aggressive? I don't think I've ever seen him do anything like that. That's impressive, man. I wish I had that kind of control. Every so often I just got to yell at somebody,
Right. And it's dangerous too. I mean, you have one kind of like I'm pissed off salty comment, and then people remember that shit for years. It sucks.
Yeah, you show the world your dick once and they just never forget. It's awful. It's the worst. You'd think people would forget about it. You'd think all these self-proclaimed straight folks would stop looking at pictures of my dick and bringing it up.
No.
Don't understand it.
That's actually my phone background, so.
I'm sure your lady loves that.
Yeah, sick. All right, here's a question for you, Zyori. You're a smart guy. You're tapped into the scene.
I'm plugged in,
People, as always, are saying Dota is dying. Your thoughts? They say that if TI5 isn't the best thing Dota's ever had, we're done. You want to comment on that? What do you think?
Well, that's a multifaceted question. One, I think there is a really high standard for TI5. I don't know that it actually will be in the metric of prize pool. I don't know that it needs to be significantly more. We're at the point where the money is kind of irrelevant. I think it'll be big. I think it'll be 10 million plus this go around. It'll be crowdfunded and similar. I think people are starting to get a little bit wise to the Valve model of like, yeah, look how much money we raised, but we kept 75% of it. Like, people are starting to feel a little bit less generous and, going really ham with these compendiums, and there's kind of diminishing returns. Once the first compendium I bought is really cool, and then you start to realize, compendiums are pretty homogenous, actually. They're really not that different after all. Do I really want to buy this for $10 and then upgrade it for another $5? And, I don't know. Is this value? So that's something that Valve needs to address, and I do think they need to find ways to make TI5 more exciting, more interesting, and I don't really know exactly what they have in mind, though. I'm hopeful they have some cool stuff in mind. I remember when people said Han was dying, when it was actually dying, as Dota 2 was on the horizon, and the first International had been announced and happened, and just, wow, $1 million when we're still talking about like $10,000 cups is a big deal. Han was actually dying in terms of its competitive scene, but what didn't die is the game itself. Han, by most metrics, is still a pretty successful game. Like, they just did their World Tour final bullshit in Thailand. I don't know what the viewership numbers looked like. It was like a $150,000 prize pool. That doesn't even really matter that much. There's still an assload of people that play that game. They'll easily hold 50 to 100K concurrent players logged into their game that still buy cosmetics, still buy early access to heroes, and still like it as a faster, shittier, less balanced version of Dota. There's people out there that like that. I don't know why they like it, but they do. So that kind of speaks to that a misnomer of what is really dying. So when people say Dota is a dead game, I don't know what they're referring to. There's going to be an assload of people playing Dota, buying cosmetics, and just playing it because it's an awesome free game that's really good for a long time. The competitive scene could fuck off, and everybody could just stop playing, and people would still play Dota like crazy. You know, it's not like the competitive scene is what drives the core user base of Dota. It certainly helps. A lot of people love watching competitive Dota that play, but there's also a lot of casuals that just kind of like playing Dota. They don't really care that much about, watching Star Ladder or keeping up with the latest iteration of the Summit. Maybe they'll watch a little bit here and there if they see a tweet, but what have you. So what's dying? Are people saying the competitive scene is dying? I mean, I would say that's bullshit. The competitive scene growth has been insane. I mean, Jesus Christ, how much do you have to complain? Look at the internationals. Over the last 4 years, prize pool has grown into, pretty good money to total fuck you money. Look at all these other tournaments, all this infrastructure, all these people that are now finding full-time jobs as support staff, as team managers, as coaches, helping out, growing the scene. I feel like the growth has been astronomical, faster than pretty much any other industry you can name for the most part. I call shenanigans, dude. What's dying here?
I gotta agree with you. I don't know. I mean, people are always like, Chicken Little, the sky is falling and shit. But I mean, as you were saying, just because the game is slowing down for you, which it isn't. I mean, the competitive scene definitely is not slowing down. It doesn't mean that the game is gonna be over anyway. I mean, I used to play Team Fortress 2 religiously, like every day. I'd play it just as much as I do for Dota. And then people were like, oh my God, it's dying, it's gone. And then, I left. But, I mean, there's still lots of people that play that game, I mean, games never die. There's always going to be fans.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and I think one thing that confuses people is the strange assumption that growth should be linear. You look at, okay, what happened last year? What happened the year before that? How should we go? Or it should be a continual exponential growth, which is never sustainable. It ends up being more of this kind of peak plateau thing where you sort of have a big spurt of growth as new technology comes out. It kind of plateaus as people the either sink or float depending on the quality of their products, and then some other breakthrough happens or somebody does something new and there's another kind of growth spurt, and then it plateaus a little bit. So it's kind of natural for the industry, and as it is done historically, to grow with a big burst and then kind of pull back a little bit. When a new big title comes out, everyone's really excited, they watch it, and then it kind of hits maturity. The tournament structure maybe isn't really there. Maybe you have a situation like StarCraft 2 where WCS ruins the whole fucking thing for everybody because Koreans just take over the global scene. It pulls back a little bit. Then all of a sudden League of Legends and Dota 2 have a big surge forward, and then, the international happens and it draws back a little bit. I don't think that's a big problem. You just have to, not you. People need to just be a little less short-sighted in what they consider.
Slacks.
The game is dying. It's like,
No, I've actually never thought of it. That is one of the best points I've ever heard on this subject. It doesn't have to be linear. TI5 does not have to be bigger than TI4, Summit 3 does not have to be bigger than Summit 2. Just let it go, dude. You don't have to work hard at Summit 3.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest... The bubble started with Twitch. Justin TV, really. That whole breakthrough of streaming technology when they flipped something that used to be... When you used to do a tournament like way back in the early 2000s, you would buy server space for people to watch. You would hope people didn't tune in because you had to pay for each person that did. You'd buy a server with 500 slots available for people to watch, and first come, first serve, better get in line early so you can watch the tournament. And that was like a significant portion of your budget to run the tournament just so people could watch it. And now Twitch TV is how a lot of tournaments pay for the tournaments. They make money. Twitch found something that used to have to pay for and were able to switch it around so that they can pay you to do it for free. So it's that created a lot of growth. That stimulated a lot of entrepreneurial activity. We need the next big breakthrough like that in the next year or two, I think. Maybe a little bit longer, but rest assured there will be something, Slacks. I don't know what it is, but something's going to happen like that again.
There we go. It will be Twitch streaming, but for 3D printing. Think about that one, huh? What do you think about that? I will send people a little me.
Honestly, it'll probably be VR. I think that's probably one of the next big breakthroughs with Valve doing all this crazy cool shit and Facebook trying to get into it. I don't know what the timeline looks like for that, but virtual reality is definitely gonna start.
Well, that's always been the dream of any video game player. I mean, every single gamer wants VR. There's not one person out there that's like, I don't want to be in the game. So right? I mean, that's what we've always been building up to. So
What I always thought would be really cool for like a TI is if they're picture like a hockey rink, right? And then it was set up like a Dota field, and there was like some kind of smoke or something, and it was 3D with like all the units, like a 3D representation. Yeah, holograms, and then you see them fighting each other. How fucking sick would that be?
That would be the sickest thing that's ever happened.
I don't know if that's even possible. I don't think we have the technology for that right now, but if Valve wants to dream big, fucking... Oh, man.
TI7 will have to be in Japan to make that work.
Can you imagine just a massive Doom, big fiery sword? God damn, dude, I'm getting a
7-foot-tall axe just running around dunking people in a fucking soccer stadium. Holy
Keeper of the Light. Oh, man, he'd be so scary. All those little ponies.
When the horses come at you, it blows a bunch of fucking air in your face.
Immersive, dude. Just imagine, like Enigma does a black hole, the lights start flashing purple. It's just the entire venue is just.
Holy shit!
Come on, man.
We're talking about the fucking Dota experience. We're gonna open up our own company.
Step before that, Dota 2 on IMAX. How about about a bitch?
Hey, damn. You and me, dude. Let's open up beyond the reality.
Beyond the reality. Oh my! I better hope LD's not listening to this. He's gonna steal that.
Every time somebody dies, we'll electrically shock the chair. Like when Zeus does the ultimate, you'll be like, "Oh shit!" and it'll hurt a lot.
So you're really just like in the zone, and you feel it. You have to pick a hero, and you're like role playing. I always wanted a custom game of Dota that made no sense but was super RP like, and it anytime like heroes on mounts just go like 50% faster. It says all this really dumb broken shit. Like I had a whole bunch of other weird like qualifications, but different combinations of heroes that made a lot of sense with lore could do fun stuff. Like you could do like a fusion with Lina and CM or something because they're sisters, or I don't know. At nighttime, everyone's a little more scared and you're weaker or some shit. Just like a total RP type of version of Dota where it would just be it's something you love, Slacks. It wouldn't make any sense. It'd be super broken and you could flame people.
I like it. Hey, Dota 2 started off as a mod. Make your own mods.
There you go. See, that's what Valve's doing. We're really going full meta with this shit. They're going to put out Source 2, and that is basically the Warcraft 3 custom map editor on fucking steroids, crack, and every other drug you can imagine. Just totally buffed up, and they're just going to give it away to people and say, hey, you, how would you like to take this really cool tool that we made and just make some good shit, and then maybe give us a little bit off the top? How's that sound? And people are going to be jumping through hoops to do it. Yeah, so now Dota is going to be the spawn of what could be the next Dota. It's nutso, man. It's really nutso.
Warcraft 3, they're going to make it from Dota, which will be good.
That's going to be awesome. I would play that. Warcraft 3 on Source 2? Dude, come on. That sounds fucking badass. Slacks. If that happens, we've got a date.
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be huge. Source 2? Oh, my God. The custom game modes.
If it ever comes out.
Are they going to sell those in the store? Are you going to have Pudge Wars for $9.99? Maybe.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Buy
that shit.
That's how they do, son. That's how they do. Slacks, can you explain to me why people are so uppity about League of Legends? Like, why do Dota fans have to be so angry? I've played a fair bit of League in my day. I used to do a whole bunch of work with League of Legends cosplayers, and I was a little bit involved in that space, and I've met a lot of rioters. I remember at PAX East 2014, I went to the Riot after party, and one of the rioters, wearing a Riot shirt and everything, saw me. I was just like, oh shit, Zyori's here. Yo, what up, man? I'm like, hi, you know me? He's like, yeah, dude, I love Beyond the Sun, but I watch that shit like every night when you guys are streaming Chinese when I can't sleep. It's like, oh, are you allowed to say that out loud in front of all these people that think you work for Riot? And he's like, yeah, dude, it's all good. You're awesome. We love you. I'm like, wow. You guys are way nicer than I thought. I was kind of expecting you to make fun of me or make some Dota jokes or be a little smug, but you're like giving me alcohol and telling me I'm awesome and we're all awesome. This is great. So
yeah, I think they're mad because LOL is actually better.
Oh, okay. In some respects, I guess you could make an argument.
No, I mean, I don't know. The Dota community is very odd. I mean,
when I ask League people, like, do you hate Dota? They're like, no, I just don't play it. It's not that fun, and I don't understand why people are so mad at me because I play League of Legends. I'm just different strokes. Why are you yelling? And Dota people definitely do more of the yelling, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird community. It's kind of this elitist thing for no reason, which is odd. I mean, really odd. I mean, they're like, whoa, Dota 2 was the first of our kind, and we are better than everyone else. It's kind of like the PC Master Race kind of thing in game form. It is weird, but that's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of what I do.
It reminds me of the like argument against gay marriage. You know, it's just like, well, I don't like it. It's fucking up my shit. Jim Jeffries has a good bit where he says, if you don't like gay marriage, don't marry a gay person. That'll show the gays, huh? You know, it's the same kind of thing. Like, you don't like playing League of Legends? How about you don't play League of Legends, huh? That'll really stick it to them. You're a consumer. Just don't give them your money, and you're already winning. You know, you didn't lose anything by it existing. It's odd to me how hostile people are. When we play that Vulcan ad that has some League of Legends people in it, it's just like, it's like you just killed somebody's baby in Twitch chat. They're just fucking flipping their biscuits left and right. And why is it so repulsive?
I think a lot of people hype it up because they want like kind of a rivalry, you know. Because, you know, I think a lot of people aren't actually crazy assholes. There's a lot of crazy assholes out there. I think most people are just like, oh, League of Legends. Like, I do that shit too. A good friend of mine plays League, and I was like, oh, do you deny a lot? Like, you know, you just talk shit, and it's fun. But you're right. I don't know why. I was talking to somebody who will remain unnamed the other day on Skype. They were just talking about, like, do you think the Dota community is toxic? Like, just, like, extremely pissy all the time for no reason. Mm-hmm. And in some ways, a vocal minority, yeah. And in other ways, not at all. I mean, it's just a weird community. What do you think?
It is a weird community, and it is a very vocal minority. That's absolutely true. I'm always still shocked to see the amount of people that are, like, absolutely, completely, hostilely butthurt about Pendragon. Like, I get it, dude. He fucked over Dota. He sold out. He took big money from Riot to take down the Play Dota forums, or I think it was Play Dota, right? You know, and just fucking delete that shit and just hide it from the world and delete all the guys. That was kind of fucked up. All right, you have every right to be salty at him, but it's like, that was like 10 years ago. Just move on. You know, like, it's just, shit happens, all right? There are douchebags in the world. This Dota 2 is a totally different beast. We rebuilt the infrastructure, guys. You know what we did? We stuck it to him. We showed him that it doesn't matter that he fucked us because Dota stuck around, and now it's just as big as LoL or whatever. They're neck and neck. I don't have specific numbers in front of me. But it's just odd how hostile people get. And it reminds me of Hearthstone versus Magic, you know? Magic is just a more in-depth version of Hearthstone. Hearthstone is to Magic as League of Legends is to Dota. One game is just more advanced. It has more depth, deeper balance, more variety across the heroes, harsher mechanics. It's less forgiving, and you just need to know more to be at least decent at it. League of Legends is just an easier game. That doesn't make it shittier. That doesn't make it stupid. It just makes it appealing to people that aren't fucking tryhards at video games like all of us. There's nothing wrong with being a tryhard. Just admit to yourself that you are a tryhard and you like hanging around with other tryhards. I'm a tryhard. I try hard all the time. All the people,
I try hard at everything.
Yeah, I know. But it's just, you know, I like Hearthstone. Magic is okay. It's not really my thing. It's a little too hard. So I get it. It's cool. Sometimes I don't care about card games. I just kind of want to play it every so often casually and fuck around and maybe play some cards that I recognize. People want to do that in League, and I don't understand why that makes them a bad person. Why do you have to be so aggressive? It's like one of Slacks' little pugs when they're rabid. Just like, wait, slow down, man. Just pump the brakes. Stop foaming. Whew.
I don't know. I got to say, though, I mean, I kind of need those people in the community because that's kind of what I built my whole thing around is pissing off tryhards. So, I mean, at the same time, it's a vice that I desperately need. So those are my favorite dudes to annoy, the really angry ones in the Dota community. So I don't know, man. But it is weird. It's weird, but I don't know. It comes with being a tryhard, I guess. To be a tryhard, you have to inherently think that you're better than other people, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's what I like about online games. I like having a ladder where I know I'm ranked fucking 2050. Everybody under that, you suck. I'm better than you. That's what we like about ladders in competitive games. People like that kind of what's the right word? It kind of props you up. You know, it's like feel good. Gives you something good to be happy about.
And that's Dota. And no matter how bad you are at Dota, you're still better than a League of Legends player. So that's the point of it, right? I'm just kidding. Just joking, Zyori. See, come on. It's fun.
Have you ever played League?
Nah, dude.
Never? Not at all? Okay.
Nah. Well, I never thought I'd play Dota, to be honest with you. I mean,
I feel you.
Inherently looks stupid.
I don't think I would, if I hadn't played Dota back in the day, I don't think I would play it now. Like, if I'd never heard of it and one of my friends was, dude, you gotta play this game Dota 2, I don't think I would get into it. I don't think I would push through the learning curve to really, like, feel good at it. The only reason that I'm able to be into it is because I played on Warcraft 3. I played Dota 1 way back. I mean, it was terrible. I didn't play competitive, but I at least played the game. You know, I had a foundation of I knew most of the heroes, you know, at least like half of them. That's a great foundation of what's going on the first time you boot up Dota 2. So
Right.
if you don't have that kind of background of knowledge, it's a tough game to get into, man. It's pretty unforgiving when you start. What do you ever play with first timers? You ever tried to play with the lady?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. What hero do you recommend people play for their very first time?
Wraith King 100% of the time. One button.
Okay, that's good.
You
Wraith
gotta
King
have
is a
shit
good
to
example.
break
I give people Lich because what I like about Lich is their range, so it's a little easier. He's fast, so they can run away pretty well, and they can actually kill people with the ult. Oh my god, this one does damage and slows. This one gives you mana. Okay, and then like I used to play with my ex, and I would just tell her like, look, use your ult. Come on, just hit the big one. And then she'd use it, and they actually get kills because people are retarded when you're playing limited heroes. They don't know how to delta split. They just, whoa, wow, I died. That big blue thing killed me. And then you can really prop up, be like, look, you killed him. Look at you. You're winning. You know, and you just got to, it's all about making them feel good, man. Every time I watch somebody like coaching a first time and they're trying to explain mechanics, I'm like, dude, just make sure they're having a good time. Make sure their first game is not miserable. You know, just try and prop them up. You know, just look, you killed him. Great job. They get an assist. Golf clap. You know, you got to really keep it positive.
I don't know, though. I mean, I'm moving on to a different subject, maybe, kind of. I think
Please.
that's one of Dota's main problems, is how complicated it is just from your first look. Take, for example, why is Counter-Strike Go's like competitive scene so kind of big? Because any old person can watch in and they know exactly what's going on. I walk up, oh, look, that guy's shooting that guy. There's nothing to understand about it. Whereas, like, Dota 2, for me, the first time I saw Dota 2, my literal words were, that is the first Valve game I will never buy. Because
And then you realized it was free and decided to try.
And then I was like, well, I'm never going to buy it, so it's free anyway. But, I mean, it just looks inherently stupid and confusing. I mean, there's little guys running around doing shit. I mean, what is that? Who cares? I'm a first-person shooter kind of guy, you know? I don't want to think too hard. So I think that's, like, one of Dota's problems is reaching a new audience. It's very difficult.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. I think that's a problem common across all MOBA games, whether it's League, Smite, even Heroes of the Storm, which is a little more simplistic. A lot of people in chat are asking us to talk about Heroes of the Storm. Have you played it at all?
Someone gave me a beta code, and I didn't use it yet. I was going to do it yesterday for my
I
April
like
Fool's
it.
stream,
I've played it a fair bit. I was grinding it for a while, but I've been playing Dota mostly recently. But it's really fun. See, when I play League of Legends, I feel like I'm playing watered down Dota. You know, I feel like this is Dota with less mechanics, and I just can't care about this as much. Heroes of the Storm feels like a different game. I don't really, when I'm playing it, I don't think, oh, this is kind of Dota-like. It's very vaguely Dota-like in the sense that you have to push the throne to win, but every map has some sort of weird objective where you have to collect things or kill zombies or do some sort of objective to spawn a big unit or get some superpower, give the shit to the pirate so he'll shoot his cannons at their structures, and whatever the objective is, pushes faster than your team just grouping up and just, you know, 5-manning down mid lane and trying to push. So you're always incentivized to do the objectives, and then you just kill people. And instead of team kills, the metric is team experience. Your whole team shares experience. So I thought that was a really cool way to make the game just less about individual, oh, you just died. Like, it's just not as big of a deal. It's more about team movements and I thought the no items and then having talents and giving you different ways to customize your hero depending on what you want to do, if you really want to tank up or do extra damage or have more utility or whatever. It's cool. It's just, it feels like a much more original game to me, where I'm even hard pressed to call it a MOBA. It's really kind of a different sort of genre almost. It's like a subset of a MOBA. It's like a mini MOBA. It's like an objective-based MOBA kind of. I recommend it. I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's mindless hacking and slashing. The terminology, though, you got to get this right, Slacks.
Yeah, the soak.
Soaking. You know about soaking?
I know about soak.
You know that's good. Oh, I guess you. Oh yeah, you know Shannon. He knows how to soak. He's a soaker.
Soak.
Sometimes you got to have a good soak. That's. But now this is a kind of a meme now that's turned in. You can use it for anything. If what you got to do is start tweeting at Shannon and just say, "Yo, you trying to soak?" and just don't really have anything in mind as to what it means, and just see how he interprets it. Maybe he'll want to play Dota. Maybe he'll want to play Heroes of the Storm. Maybe he'll say you're fucking stupid. It's a gamble, but it's fun, you know?
I was thinking, some dude was telling me about Heroes or whatever you're talking about. I was like, God, he's so passionate about it. He's talking about soak, and that was you. Is what I just remembered. Your dumbass was telling me about this game already, like a month ago.
Did I really?
Yes, we've already talked about it.
We had this conversation? Son of a bitch. Well,
no, it's good though. It's good.
We had this conversation on the DC fucking TeamSpeak with Shannon. God damn it, you're right. It's all coming back to me now. Oh.
And I was like, everything that I know about this game, I was told by you. And I was like gonna like fucking talk to you about what you told me about it. So stupid.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That is so fucking funny.
Oh my God, I was gonna be like, yeah, a guy I knew once told me something about soaking. So
it holds true though. Just you should play it still. I still recommend you play it.
All right. As I said before when we talked about this last time, I will say that most people that play that game say, it's fun for an hour. I had a great hour with it, and then that was it.
Yeah,
they just play like for an hour every week.
I mean, I played a lot of Blizzard games. You know, I played Diablo 2 and World of Warcraft a fuck ton. So I like stuff that has Blizzard lore in it. I played StarCraft 2 and everything. So it's also cool just to see the Blizzard heroes. The mounts are kind of weird. I'm not the biggest fan of the mounts, but it is what it is. It doesn't really bother me that much. But
I like the mount, so I'll go check it out.
Yeah, there you go. Having a mount is good. So, all right, Slacks, one of the last things I want to talk about here, Dota Cinema. What are you doing, man? You guys been collaborating a little bit, getting some of the old slacks on the fails.
Yeah, I'm not officially a part of Dota Cinema. I don't think I'm never gonna have the DC slacks. That ain't me, because I don't want to represent them in case I do something stupid.
Okay, admirable.
At the same time, I mean, it's just as I said before, it's one of those things where like you look up to somebody, you're like, oh my God, Sunspan, like, and then you get to know them and then you do stuff. It's an interesting opportunity, and I really enjoy it. The Dota Cinema fans are starting to warm up to me, I think, but maybe not. Who knows? Either way.
I would hope so. I don't know. I mean, it's hard because YouTube is their primary place of putting out that kind of content, and YouTube is notoriously shitty in terms of useful feedback and comments and that kind of shit. So, I don't know. How do you gather decent feedback from YouTube-based stuff?
Usually, you just don't read the comments, I think, is the most useful YouTube can be. You just ignore everything. No, just kidding. But, I don't know. I mean, how do you garner reviews from YouTube? I don't think there's an answer. If you're garnering how to do your life by people on YouTube, like, fucking Angry Wife Hitter 69, then you're never going to get anywhere. You just gotta let that go.
Angry Wife Hitter 69. That's awful, man. It's just, I like reading YouTube comments because it's just so ridiculous. I can't even...
No, they're fun. It's like Twitch chat. You go in there and you read them and you're like, ha ha! But if you're like, oh my God, this guy said I should do this. This is, I mean, oh God, that's...
Twitch chat is fine when I'm in a normal mood, but there are just some days when I'm just not feeling it, and I'm like, I just don't have the patience for y'all today, man. Can you just shut the fuck up a little bit? Like, it's just nonstop chaos, man.
Yeah, it's the epitome of like what would happen in the apocalypse Twitch chat, I think. Like if like they perfectly represent like a raider clan,
Yeah.
But anyway, there's one thing I learned from being a manager at a restaurant. It's that normal.
If there's one thing I'm sorry. I don't know why I laughed at that. I
don't know why.
Your delivery was just, there's one thing I learned from working as a manager at a restaurant is how to cut pie, goddammit.
Is that sane people don't leave comments typically? Like nobody goes and has a really great meal and then goes home to their computer and
gets on Yelp and is just like, I had the best cheesesteak ever.
I had the best steak today and it was at this restaurant and I want to tell you about what a great restaurant this is. Nah, the only people that typically leave comments on anything are fucking nutcases that are just like, this was the worst I've ever had, and it's like, why? Are you that passionate? Like, you're going to go home, drive home like 45 minutes after eating an hour ago and be like, I'm still fucking pissed about that drink. So, I mean, there's people that are really passionate about letting people know I really enjoyed this. It was really cool. Keep doing what you're doing. I want to support you. Those guys are fantastic. Those guys are great. There's also great guys that are like, hey, I think you could do this and this better and be a much better person. And I've listened to so many of those people.
Yeah.
I will trust somebody who says, I'm doing good, but you can do this. I take their words so much more seriously than someone's like, you're doing great. Like,
yeah.
But then you have guys that are like, you're fucking retarded. And I'm like, okay. Like, you can't take that seriously.
Have you ever gotten any super heartfelts, like, I was suicidal and you made me laugh and that saved my life, or any kind of really tearjerker types?
Yeah. I've had tearjerkers before, and it's odd. You know?
It is.
It is. I mean, because it's like, it's so great that touched you that much. And, God, the other day I was getting interviewed by somebody, and when I first started playing Dota 2, you know, when you first start playing a game, you look at all the media for it and stuff. And I watched a lot of PirianFlax videos. And I was like, oh, this is really funny. I like this guy. And somebody said that they started playing Dota 2 like 4 months ago. And they looked up videos for it. And they watched all my videos. And it was like, wow. Like somebody got into the game because of what I was doing. Like that was incredible.
Yeah.
So stuff like that makes everything worth it. But anyway, I'm getting real sappy. This is getting weird.
This is good, dude. This is the side of Slacks we don't see very often. I'm trying to prove this one guy wrong on Twitter. Do you ever get into it with people on Twitter that don't have a picture, have 0 followers and like 10 tweets, but you're still just like, oh, I know this is a troll, but fuck. Oh, that happens to me like every day. And when I announced Slacks was coming on the show, one person was just so mad about it. Just like, why would you even think about bringing some stupid idiot? We already know everything he does. He's never said anything important ever. And I was just like, well, maybe he's got some interesting stuff to say. You don't know. He's just like, or maybe he's got nothing interesting to say, which is probably right. Like, Jesus, dude. And I was like, the baseless hyperbole. He's like, it's not baseless. It's built on fact that Slacks has never said anything worth listening to before. But Zyori, my friend, we've heard it all before. He's just going to yell and scream in his voice he does and say how bad he is at Dota. I'm like, all right, Charles Walker. Maybe that's true, but give him a chance. Let him breathe. Let him soak a little bit, all right? Jeez.
Let him soak. Oh, my
God. I was just surprised at the veracity. I mean, I went back and forth like 5 or 6 times with this guy. Like, why is he...
It's the monkey banana, dude. He doesn't even know why he hates... But
it's the monkey banana. It all goes full circle. The monkey fucking banana. I'm gonna use. That's gonna be a new thing. I think I got to bring that up around the house.
Please don't.
The monkey banana. That's great.
Hey, well, I don't know. I mean, it's people see somebody like trying to do what they do, and they think, I don't know why people get upset, but let them be upset. Any emotion. If there's one thing video games have taught me, you're going the right way when you start having enemies appear in front of you.
That's right.
So,
Charlie said it right earlier. If you don't have haters, who the fuck are you?
Right? So that's cool. But I don't know. I mean, it's fun. As long as I'm doing what I do and I enjoy it, and what's to care, right, buddy? You know that more than anybody.
Absolutely. It's all about happiness, Slacks, all things in moderation. Pal, this brings us to the end. Do you have any shout-outs, any last words? Lay them on me. I know you don't have any sponsors, but come on, man. Lay them on me. If you've got any call-outs, I'm ready for this too.
Call-outs, shout-outs. Well, shout-out to you, Zyori. Big fan, long time. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It was a complete honor. Very big surprise, so thank you so much.
It's been a blast, man.
So there you go. Let's see. Shout-outs. I mean, what can I say? To Dota 2 community in general. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be here. I have kind of a weird scenario where I owe everything I have to just people that, watch me, support me. Even people that hate me really help me out too. So, at least they still watch the videos. So thank you out there. But I mean, it's incredible that we were talking about earlier how salty the Dota 2 community can be. It's incredible how wonderful they can be and how generous. So thank you to everybody out there. If you're watching this right now, thank you so much for supporting us. Me and Zyori do what we do for you.
Wow,
and that's it.
That's so heartfelt. Yeah, call-outs, please.
I don't know. Let's see. Who could I be pissed off at this week? Fuck. Moon Meander. There you go.
For anything in particular, or just existing?
Nah, he was just the first person that I could think of.
Okay, just call out for being you. All right, very good. I like that. So
I love you, Moon Meander. Just kidding.
Ooh. Oh my. Ooh,
Does anyone actually do call-outs? Like,
no, usually people say no, but usually I say it for clever people like yourself. Usually when I present a weird open-ended question like that, people come up with something a little bit creative or usually it's an opportunity to share some little anecdote. If one of your friends bested you the other day, and call out, or let's say you beat Shannon in a 1v1, call him out for sucking ass at playing Pudge mid. That's appropriate.
Okay, call out to ESL for their fucking balloon guy.
There you go. See, that's perfect. Now tell us, who is the balloon guy?
Some dude's making balloons at ESL, and I'm literally pissed off about it.
Why? What was the
Because I'm going to stupid TI5. They're not going to have a fucking balloon guy. In ESL,
what kind of balloons?
Did you not see the thread on Reddit? He's going to make Dota 2 heroes out of balloons. That's fucking bullshit.
Why? What's wrong? That sounds cool. That sounds creative.
Because I'm not going to stupid ESL Germany because I don't have a passport. And I'm going to stupid-ass TI5 where there's going to be no balloon guy. And it's dumb.
I like that, Slacks. A good call out. And with that, we wrap up another Zyori Podcast, folks. Thank you so much for joining us here. This baby's going to get uploaded to YouTube pronto, so if you joined us late, you can catch the VOD there. Make sure you find the podcast on iTunes. One of the best ways to support it is to subscribe and rate over there. And, we'll share it out, Slacks. Thank you so much for making some time on your day off of all days. I had no idea that you were going to be relaxing, getting some R&R, so now I almost feel bad making you come on and talk about your life. I know it was stressful and harsh, but hopefully you can recover this afternoon.
I'm going to be drinking myself to sleep tonight. This is a very intense podcast, sir. Thank you for having me.
Tough stuff. So, all right, join us next time, folks, probably next week for the next iteration of the Zyori Podcast.